Well, we've heard from the Midwest. We've heard from the West. We've heard from, I don't know, where was Grandpa OLLI from? Well, wherever. Now we're going to hear from a gentleman from the South. So let's hear it for Barry King. Barry.
Thanks. Hello, Asheville. I had a tough time growing up. I was short and skinny and not very smart. My IQ was lower than Ron DeSantis' polling numbers. However, I did manage to memorize all 45 state capitals. When I was 5, I was diagnosed with CLS, that's chicken leg syndrome. The joke in my neighborhood is, why did Barry cross the road? Coyotes chased me home from school. I was at the beach and 2 kids grabbed my ankles and made a wish. Colonel Sanders, I was a poster boy for Colonel Sanders. And my nose, it's longer than an Ingles cash register receipt. It's something you see on Mount Rushmore. My nostrils were even bigger. If I inhaled deeply, I could vacuum a yard. On a good day, I could suck a squirrel out of a tree. Somehow I managed to make it to junior high, where all kinds of things started happening. Gallons of testosterone started flowing in my veins. Free Willy took on a whole new meaning. I walked around with a never-ending pocket rocket. I went into grocery stores just to fondle produce. I hung around laundromats just so I could lean against the Maytags. It seems like I always got excited at the worst possible times, like in English class when I was daydreaming about a naked Chelsea Benton. Suddenly interrupted by Miss Freeze calling me up front to give my book report. So I put my book in front of my pants and I bent over and shuffled up to the head of the class. Miss Freeze said, "Barry, don't slouch. When you're giving a book report in my class, you need to project confidence and stay erect." So, one out of 2 ain't bad. Then one morning I woke up and I'm 79 years old and constipated. Now I'm dealing with a swollen prostate, liver spot, and jowls. If I turn sideways, I look like a pelican swallowed a goat. An old goat at that. An old goat that has to pee 5 times a night. My memory and concentration aren't too good either. Last month, I confused the Colgate with Preparation H, and I've been sucking my meals through a straw ever since. As I've gotten older, the hair on my head has fallen out and has started growing in really embarrassing places. And at my age, I don't like mirrors. I stay away from them. I don't look into them. So I don't trim as frequently as I need to. One morning I was washing up and I glanced up into the mirror and I thought a monkey had run up my nose. I looked like Rapunzel. If I'd have stuck my nose out a window, a prince would have climbed up. Last week I got my tag renewed. The line was longer than a list of indictments against Donald Trump. And slower than a dachshund going over a speed bump. And at 79, slow lines are a real challenge. All my sphincters, which were once tighter than a condom on a watermelon, have turned into jelly. And as I moved forward in the line, I had a rear sphincter release. Now I'm talking about a force 10 on the Beaufort-Wentz scale, and probably an 8.0 on the Richter scale. Everyone left standing urged me to go up to the front, where I quickly grabbed my tag and retaped my Depends. I joined Planet Fitness a couple of years ago actually, and to work on my flexibility. I saw a group class bending over and touching the floor with the top of their head. And it was incredible, their flexibility. And I thought, well, I would be happy if I could just touch my toes with my fingers. 6 months later, I still couldn't get past my knees. So I decided to let my fingernails grow. Cornhole. You know that's a game? When I was a kid, you went to prison for that. Why would you name a game after a felony? Every time I hear that name, my butt pucker. I'm shaking. Around middle age, my doctor started pushing me to have a colonoscopy. Now, we live in a country that has sent men to the moon, brought them back safely. Why can't we have a procedure that you don't have to eat Jell-O and drink half a Lake Michigan? The prep comes in a 2-gallon jug, and it's supposed to be flavored, but that's only if you think slime on a slug is a flavor. I drank all this stuff until I felt as bloated as a tick at a blood bank. Then 2 hours later, I felt like a dysentery survivor. When I made it over to the hospital, they wheeled me into what they call the gastro suite. Now, I've been in some suites before, but this one, it did not have mints or complimentary wine. But it did have a doctor with eyes emptier than a collection plate at my church, and a nurse holding tubing that looked like it would fit my car's radiator. On the floor, there was a chalk outline of a body. I lost my nerve right then. I had a rectal contraction that couldn't have been penetrated by a roto-rooter. But they had anesthesia, so later, when I woke up, there was a nurse standing there with my discharge instructions and wallet-sized pictures of my colon. Who knew they did? I didn't know they did that. So, excuse me. The only way you can really identify your colon, and it could have been anybody's colon that they're showing you. I don't know. The only way I know to identify your colon is to put your head up your rectum. The only people I know that can do that are called congressmen. Speaking of colonoscopies, how about that Lauren Boebert? How does someone more useless than a pallbearer at a cremation get elected to the House of Representatives? Just a note here for any Boebert fans out there, UNCA is a grope-free campus. My wife and I relocated to Asheville 30 years ago, and we moved into a condo out in Arden. About 10 years ago, we saw one of those infomercials on TV about reverse mortgages. And it sounded like a good idea to us, so we got one, and it's really worked out well. 2 weeks ago, our landlord found out. We also bought a bidet not too long ago. and we couldn't afford the entire bidet, so we found one online that attaches to the commode you have in your house. And it was made out of plastic, but it looked like it was well made. But anyway, we went ahead and ordered the deluxe model, which has Bluetooth and a water pick feature. That thing really does the job, I'll tell you. First month, our water bill was $800. It has 3 pressure settings on it: babbling brook, spring rain, and cornhole. Thank you, Asheville.
Good job. Barry King. Barry King, everybody. Do I know how to teach?